Okay, today we're playing a game on Hanamura. We are in the Bronze SR range, and we will be playing about a third of the game as Zenyatta before changing to Pharah for the rest of the game. And I really, truly do not care about our team comp when we're in Bronze. Around 1,000 SR estimated. So, it really don't matter. So we're just going to start the game. So you've got to attack Hanamura first, which is very fun. Everybody loves attacking Hanamura, legendarily well-balanced map that it is. Definitely the best 2CP map. Everybody loves it. So, we've got Sombra off doing her own thing inside their base right now, and, you know, hopefully she does something productive, but I mean, let's be real. She's a Sombra in Bronze. Junkrat threw himself in through the window and promptly did absolutely nothing. Also, I would like to point out that our two healers right now are Lucio, Zenyatta. As I just said, team count doesn't matter. We don't have a main healer, though, which is bad news. So, we should probably be playing Moira instead. Mercy and Ana are also main healers, but we're in Bronze. We definitely don't want to pick Mercy. And Ana is... she's sort of pretty dependent on her team actually being decent as well, particularly in regards to her ultimate, whereas Moira can basically just kind of, like, kill people, heal a lot of people. Moira's good. I like Moira. We do want a main healer rather than no main healer. So, surprisingly enough, we are just sort of marching our way through the door as a team. Isn't that surprising? They aren't really putting up very much opposition at the time, either. Which is nice. I would like if we look over into this doorway before we actually come into it, because we've not once actually looked over in this doorway. I mean, we sort of did there, but, like, we didn't really look in the room. Lord only knows what we could back up into. People are standing in weird fucking places in Bronze as well. Lord only knows what we could back up into. So then Moira's using Coalescence right now, which is gonna make it difficult for our team to go in. As we can see, they've got, you know, the Bronze team. They've got a Symmetra and a Torbjorn over there. They've also got a Winston. Most of our team are dead. We've now come up over here and hidden ourselves out of the way in the room. Like, okay, so... this is not really what you should do as Zenyatta in this position, but we're in Bronze, okay? High ground's really fucking strong. Honestly, if you're playing, like, Zenyatta, Soldier, McCree, Hanzo, any kind of such hero that has, like, long range, if you can get up on this balcony, and you're in, like, Bronze Silver, you can just, like, wreck the entire enemy team. Because they aren't gonna know what to do to deal with you, and those heroes on high ground are, like, very obnoxious. So, like, honestly, just go over there with Junkrat and start shooting at the enemy team, and they probably won't respond to you properly. It's, like, if you're playing, like, Soldier, just, like, wait for a moment to slip through the doorway, and then run up there, and they aren't gonna know what to do. Basically. Is that what you should do? No, and it wouldn't work outside of, like, very low SR brackets. But, if you're in the low SR brackets, you gotta capitalize on people being bad, and they aren't gonna respond to you properly, so you can probably just kill a lot of people up there. What we should have just done, outside of the very low SRs, is just go regroup with our team, rather than hanging around over in this little room over here. But I say go kill him, basically. Or try to kill him, at least, anyway. Now, you know, saying that, that's how people end up in, the situation where they climb to a certain SR, and then they're like, what the fuck, I can't climb anymore, because they were doing the wrong thing for so long. You just gotta realize when it's gonna stop working. You do have to punish people for being bad in low SR, because your team's going to be bad as well, like, really bad. So you have to put in the extra effort to actually, like, win games, basically. Didn't quite break the turret in time. Tragic indeed. So we were getting chased around by Winston for a while. I like how they have the two dive tanks, but then this incredibly sedentary team around that, right? Isn't that, like... anyway. So we've changed off of Zenyatta to Pharah now. This is not really what we should have done, because now our only healer is Lucio, which is bad, and we as Pharah are not really going to get healed by Lucio. So I assume this play was prompted by the desire to break the turrets. Honestly, I don't feel like the turrets are even that much of an issue, really. Not having a main healer was actually quite detrimental over the, during the preceding fights, because you'll notice during the previous fights there were times where, like, people were limping around with low hit points, and we as Zenyatta and Lucio can do very little to help with that, really. We should have actually just been playing, like, Moira since the start. Sombra has changed to Ana, which I don't support, because, let's be real, the person doesn't know how to play Ana either. Ana's the hardest support to play, or the hardest main healer to play, I'll say. Probably just the hardest support in general, but definitely the hardest main healer to play. She isn't going to be good. So, if I'm going to be honest with you, the quality of the video is quite bad. I can't really tell exactly what we're shooting at right now, but we killed Lucio, so that's great. So, I like how we are, in fact, staying around cover, and just, like, poking and prodding at them. This is what you do as Pharah, so that's cool. Not having a Mercy makes it very difficult, or, like, just, like, a healer that can kind of reach us, so it makes us very difficult. We do actually have to, like, pick up health kits. As terrible as that might be, I know, but, like, look at this. We're walking around at a half health right now, slightly over, technically. We can't be doing that. Especially as someone like Pharah, who has, like, this massive target painted on the face of your head, on the front of your face. The front of your face, as opposed to the back of your face. Walking around or floating around at half health is not good business, so we should try to find a health kit. Again, we have Ana as the healer as well. Ana's not very good at healing Pharah, particularly if the Ana is bad. Or if the Pharah is bad for that point as well, but, you know. So, I don't feel like we did much of anything as Pharah, either, to be perfectly honest with you. Like, it doesn't feel like we did much of anything during that round. So, not that many people on our team did anything. So, I don't like that we picked Zenyatta when we needed a main healer, and that made it difficult for our team to get much done, because we were... The thing is, as well, with, like, the kind of team composition they have, it's like, if they start winning, they will probably keep winning, right? Torbjorn, in particular, is that way, where if he starts winning, he tends to keep winning, because he's a very snowbally hero. So, us walking up to them with no main healer basically just kind of, like, threw the first couple of fights away, because we're just trying to march our way in, and inevitably we're going to eventually have to fight them, but then when we start fighting them, our two healers are just not going to be able to keep up, which makes the team fights very difficult for us to win. So we should have just picked the main healer. Moira's the best one. You can kill people, you're extremely independent, you don't need people to look after you. You can kill them, you can heal everybody. Moira does the highest base healing in the game out of all the main healers, or the off healers as well, for that matter, outside of Zenyatta's ultimate. So she's very good at keeping people alive, as well as just being independent and killing people as well, because let's be real, they aren't going to kill people for us, we're probably going to need to help as well. Zenyatta is also a good one to pick, because he has a lot of agency over the game, being able to kill people. But if the other healer is an off healer, you can't really pick Zenyatta, because your team's just going to end up getting killed, because they have no real healer. Like, if you notice right now, we once again have no real healer, because that boy's gonna pick Zenyatta. So we have no healer again. So we will have to pick up health kits, basically. Right, Zenyatta's not going to be able to keep up with all the healing that's going to need to be done. So in regards to the Pharah section, it just didn't really felt like we were really achieving much, and part of that is just that, like, we only really sat back harassing them, which, I mean, is part of playing Pharah, yes, sitting back and harassing them and, like, poking and building up ult and all that. But the other aspect of playing Pharah is actually, like, pressuring the enemy team and actually killing them, which we're not really going to do from the gate, poking at them the whole time. Eventually, we are going to have to actually, like, go up to them and start fighting, because this is how Pharah is. She's somewhat similar to Genji, honestly, where you poke and harass and build up your ult charge by just harassing the enemy as much as possible. You try and kill somebody if you see the opportunity to do so, obviously, which, you know, pretty good at capitalizing on opportunities to do so. But then eventually, like, the idea is just kind of like to sneak up behind them, especially if they're playing a pretty, like, stationary team composition like they were. The plan is to then just, like, kind of get up behind them, concussive blast into place, and then kill everybody with barrage. Or at least just a few people with barrage. In all likelihood, you're quite likely to die when you use barrage. But if you kill like 3 people before you die, that's okay, because you just went 1 for 3. So, you know, we just sort of sat back harassing at them, which is part of it, but we do also have to eventually start moving in and making stuff happen. That will be difficult when we don't have, like, a Mercy to heal us, basically. We had 2 healers that, like, can't really do much to help us at all. So, and our team, you know, we can't really rely on them to get much done. So it will be difficult to do so, but we can't just sit back harassing the entire time either. We do have to eventually start trying to push in and actually make stuff happen. So, no, anyway, we're defending as Pharah, not a traditionally seen as a defense hero, but I mean, there's no reason you can't. She still does a lot of damage. It's, I was going to say it's because she's not in the defense category like Junkrat, but the defense category's gone. It's just damage now. I still can't believe they decided to put the damage category in between tank and support, because it just looks so fucking dumb. Where it's like, 6 heroes, like 20 heroes, 6 heroes. It just looks so dumb in the middle. Would it have necessarily looked much better if it was like 6, 6, like 20? Not really, but, you know, it would have looked a bit better than just this giant one in the middle breaking up the other 2. So, anyway, a lot of people on the enemy team died, because they just kind of walked in as a bunch of, you know, like Torbjorn, Symmetra, and all that. And I don't really feel like we contributed much to killing anybody in that fight, really, except, like, the Moira, who decided she just wanted to kind of, like, hang around and wait and die at the end, but, you know. So, trying to boop someone's cool and all. If you're going to try and boop a Winston, though, wait until he's used his jump, because that just ends up doing nothing instead. And, Concussive Blast, you don't want to end up wasting it, because it's also one of your movement abilities, right? So the cool thing about Pharah, she actually has 2 movement abilities, but one of her movement abilities also doubles as being disruption for the enemy team. But you don't want to use it too frivolously, because if you end up in a bad spot, you quite often need it to save yourself as well. Are we likely to be in a bad spot when the enemy team is full of heroes that can't really threaten us? Probably not, but you never know. And if we're just trying to push somebody off the edge, you want it to be a better odds than just trying to push off a Winston who we haven't seen jump yet. So this is a grievous misuse of company resources. We just use it to kill a Lucio. They've already lost that fight because half their team was already dead. So we did not need to use barrage there. It ends up accomplishing little, very little. Like, we could have just shot those boys and achieved the same thing. They already lost the fight, so it wasn't likely to go any better for them after that point. So here's the thing I want to point out. I don't really talk about key bindings that much, but I can't help but note it looks like Concussive Blast is still bound to E. Here's like the best key binding change in the world. Rebind Concussive Blast to right click. Because right click, by default, for Pharah, makes you hover a little bit, yeah? But does anybody actually do that? Or do they just push space? Right? Concussive Blast on right click makes way more sense and is way easier to use than on E. There's a similar thing with Tracer where, you know, shift is blink, but nobody actually uses shift to blink. They use right click. So other good common key binding change I've seen is rebind Pulse Bomb to shift, because it's easier to push shift than Q, because basically you don't have to take your hands off WASD to push shift, so it makes it easier to stay moving around as Tracer if it's on shift rather than Q. But Concussive Blast on right click is real good. It's way better than E. It's like the first thing I did when I played the game was change that. So anyway, we're bullying around Moira right now. I don't know why we back so far away from her. Like, I guess because we're reloading. Like, still just, like, stay close to her, because, like, she's basically dead. You can just, like, hover around the edge of the window frame, and once we've reloaded, float back in and kill her again. There's no reason to be afraid of a Moira. So we could just stay way closer to her and make sure she actually dies, because, like, what threat was she? And, like, let's be real, is D.Va gonna turn around and help her? And D.Va's in bronze? Probably not, so... So they have a soldier. I can hear soldier shooting somewhere. There he is. He's been behind us this whole time. Hold on. Is it actually like surround sound? Yeah, it is. Yeah, he's like right next to us. So soldier is a really high priority target for Pharah. So we, you know, listening to the game can be helpful because then we would have found out soldier was behind us a little bit sooner. So, just shooting into the back of a diva is not a very productive use of our time. Pharah's not really that good at killing tanks, because she doesn't do, like, a lot of very consistent damage, right? She's really good at bursting a squishy target to death. She's not so good at killing tanks. So, rather than shooting diva in the back, we should be looking for a support or a DPS to shoot instead, because that's just who Pharah is better at killing. So then we know there's a Sombra in here somewhere. We shoot the wall, like maybe she's there. No, she's up here trying to hack Bastion through the window. Didn't really work out super well. So as we can see, the enemy team is also quite bad, so they haven't been having great luck at taking the objective so far. They are starting to push in now. Diva's using self-destruct out there, so our Diva's using self-destruct. We can't see exactly where it is, but we know roughly where it is. Which is, it's somewhere in, like, this region out here, outside. Just, like, boop Reinhardt when it's close to exploding. Just try and push him so that his shield won't be blocking the explosion anymore. And, like, Reinhardt probably won't die, assuming he isn't just, like, completely asleep at the wheel. But if someone was standing behind the shield, like, oh, it'll protect me from self-destruct, and then you push him out of the way, that person will die, probably, if nothing else, if they were depending on Reinhardt's shield. If you've got, like, any kind of crowd control or disruption and Diva's using self-destruct, try to disrupt the Reinhardt or so that he can't block it as easily. So we have Barrage built up right now. It doesn't look like that we really need to use it for this team fight. Some aim better happening back here. Like, you know, aim better's not helpful advice, but it took us a very long time to kill those boys. So Junkrat's using the tire right now. He's not using self-destruct. That'd be weird. So they're pushing in right now. A lot of our team are dead. So, most of our team are dead. We're here. We got Barrage. Most of our team are dead. So, what I'm thinking right now is we gotta make big plays if we don't want to lose this game. Let's come float over this doorway, because they're all gonna push through here. And then as soon as we see them walk under us, we barrage right on top of their heads. And we're largely covered when we would do so. Because most of our team is dead, and they're about to start pushing in. So if we're hovering over the doorway, we could just barrage them as soon as they start walking through. We start doing this instead, and it might look like it achieves basically the same thing, but we're in a way more exposed location. And we end up not being able to kill the soldier either. Like, I'm talking like we basically just have... She used Fade to get closer to the objective. That's a bad play. Like, if we're just, like, right here, and we just barrage straight down on top of the doorway, they have to actually walk through the doorway if they want to try and kill us. Whereas if we're over here, we're barrage from where we are right now, they don't even have to come in. They can just shoot us from basically all of these angles over here. Whereas if we're above the door, then suddenly we've just completely cut off, like, one half of the map that they can shoot at us from. So it's just a more covered location. And also we'd be able to hit Soldier, because, like, killing Moira is fair enough, but then we'd rather start killing the DPS after that point. So killing Soldier is like a higher priority target than shooting the Diva, because the Soldier will actually die faster than the Diva will. Will we see the play of the game? We'll see the play of the game. I know you can't see the timeline on the videos, because the resolution's kind of fucked up, but I've made adjustments on my end to hide that. Here comes Torbjorn. Was he even shooting? Oh, it's the bongo. Okay. Ah, yes. That's a textbook Torbjorn play of the game right there. Oh, no. Go back. Show me the cards. Got it. Alright, great. 7,000, just under 8,000 damage, 30% of the team's hero damage. How depressing. So, the thing is with, bronze games is that, and like silver games as well, is that your team are not going to do very much to actually help you win the game in a lot of situations. You actually have to put in, like, extra effort to win these games, because your team are just going to be, like, 5 people running around doing whatever the fuck, right? So the point I'm building up to here is that we have to try and make bigger efforts to actually, like, carry the game, because nobody else is going to do it for us, right? We have to actually, like, make extra effort. And I know we started as a support. Like, this is why I still recommend picking, like, Zenyatta or Moira. Zenyatta if you can, but, like, Moira if you only have one healer, which you probably do in Bronze and Silver, or even above that, honestly, but, you know, you get the idea. Like, we have to actually make greater efforts to carry the game. Like, we can't just sit back, like, particularly when we're playing Pharah, right? We can't just sit back harassing the enemy team the entire time. We have to actually be, like, aggressively going in and trying to kill people and punish them for making mistakes, right? Because that's ultimately what this game is about, is punishing people's mistakes. And that's, well, to be fair, that's all competitive games, is punishing people's mistakes. People in Bronze and Silver and Gold and, like, everywhere, really, but those places in particular, people make a lot of mistakes, and they're very easy to punish, right? Like, the Soldier was, like, fucking touching us at one point, but he, like, shot us maybe once, despite being close enough to punch us if he tried, right? Like, they're gonna make a shit ton of mistakes, and they're not gonna punish you as quickly, right? If they punish you at all. So you can make greater efforts to actually try and, like, carry the game. Now, Pharah isn't a great one for this, because she's not a super independent hero, right? Like, Pharah kind of needs support from a healer to really get stuff done. So Pharah's not a great one for that, really. Like, honestly, like, someone like Soldier is pretty much the best hero you can pick low SR-wise if you want to, like, carry, because he's one of the most independent DPS in the game. He's got a self-heal. If he gets dove by somebody, like a Winston, he can just fight them, right? Like, he can just put the biotic field down and kill the fucking Winston who jumped on him instead, right? So he does a lot of damage. He can do damage from really far away. He can still do damage close up. He's one of the tankiest DPS in the game because of the biotic field, and he has one of the most threatening ultimates, particularly if the enemy team don't know how to position. Because Takvar's is great for punishing bad positioning. So Soldier is probably, like, the best hero you can pick for this, because he just is extremely independent. It's like, you just see, like, if we're playing Soldier in that game, right on attack right there, if we see nobody's in the gate in front of us, we can just sprint right up the right-hand side, get up on the high ground, and then just shoot in at everybody on the point in front of us, and there's nothing they can do about it, right? Like, if Winston comes up to fight us, or D.Va comes up to fight us, biotic field down, fight the person, we'll kill them before they kill us, and nobody else is gonna help them, right? Like, they're in fucking Bronze. They're gonna come up here and try to fight us by themselves. Winston's probably not even gonna have his fucking bubble because he put it down just for the sake of putting it down. We'll just kill him. No big deal. And then we can just sit up there, killing people the entire time, putting massive pressure on them and, like, killing people freely. So Soldier's great for it. Like, the flankers in general are pretty good for it. Reaper's really good for it. Tracer's really good for it. Genji's really good for it. Sombra's really good for it. They're just harder to play, right? Soldier is, like, pretty easy to play, but he's also really good for carrying in low SRs where people are bad, don't know how to position, and you can't depend on your team to assist you in any way. Soldier's one of the most independent DPS in the game. Purely because of his self-heal and the sheer range from which he can attack you. So, we have to make bigger efforts to actually, like, make things happen. We can't just sit back passively the whole time expecting things to happen for us. We have to actually make an effort to make things happen, right? That was a great sentence. I just said make, like, 5 times in the same sentence. We have to try and make stuff happen, though. Nobody else is gonna do it for us. We gotta do it. It's the thing with Bronze. You can't depend on fucking anybody, but you can depend on the enemy team being bad. So pick someone who's good at punishing mistakes and go punish their fucking mistakes. Doesn't even matter who it is. Fucking Winston's really good for punishing mistakes. Just pick Winston, jump on the person who's out of position, fucking kill him. You gotta go make stuff happen. We can't just sit back harassing people constantly. We gotta make efforts to get in there, is the point. So, thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. If you haven't already, you can join our Discord and ask questions more directly and have a conversation about them, or just shitpost with us. And I hope you found the video helpful.